Welcome to Unsubscribe. I'm your host, Avani Jane. In this podcast, I'm going to show you how to intentionally opt out of anything that's robbing you of your energy, freedom, joy, and peace of mind. It's time to let it all go, finally, so that you can clear your mental inboxes and make space to subscribe to a life that truly lights your soul. If you're ready, hop in. We are embarking on the transformation of a lifetime. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Unsubscribe. I am thrilled to dive into today's topic because it's carrying a thread forward from last week's episode. Last week, we talked about taking messy action, messy action, and how it can allow us to play big in a bigger arena and really show up for that next version of ourselves. And the flip side of that is if we want to play big, we have to unsubscribe to playing small. Those two go hand in hand. And it's something that I've been thinking so much about. I keep asking myself in decision points I'm coming across and moments where I need to show up. I have the choice to show up in a certain way or not. And I keep asking myself, is this playing big? Does this look like playing big for me? The thing that's interesting about playing big and not playing small is there's so many layers to it and it looks so different in different eras of our life. So I want to share with you what I am learning about unsubscribing to playing small. And we're going to dive into that today. I'm so excited to share some stories, but also tangible ways to unsubscribe to this version of you, whatever that playing small looks like for you right now. As many of you know, a lot of the stories that I'm sharing are things I'm experiencing right now. And one of those things is podcasting. It has really asked me to level up as a human being in many ways, to put aside stories, to let go of old ways of being. It's asking me to be at my end, to evolve to the next version of myself, who I'm meant to be next. And so I've been doing that work, doing that inner work while I'm showing up and sharing what I'm learning with you. So it's kind of meta, but we're going with it. I've been putting myself out there. I've been betting on myself in huge ways that I would have thought were insane before, scary ways. And I want to tell you all about it. But I'm also kind of terrified to admit some of my big, hairy, audacious goals to you because they're huge. They're kind of crazy. And I'm gonna spill the tea anyway. I want to pull back the curtains. I'm gonna do it anyway because I'm playing big now. So you heard it here first, all the things I'm about to share with you. You heard it here first. I'm admitting it to you. I'm recording this episode on February 14th, 2024, Valentine's Day. And let's see what the next several months bring. It's going to be fun to come back and be like, oh, I said it here first. And my goal is to be somebody that shows you what's possible by experimenting and failing and learning myself. So that's what I'm trying to do here. A few weeks ago, I was talking to a friend, my friend Ashley Gordon. She runs the Quantum Coach Academy and she helps people hone in their craft of coaching. And she has an incredible program that she does this through. Ashley I love her energy. I love everything that she stands for. And I've just been having so much fun getting to know her. She and I are in a mastermind together. She had Natalie Ellis of Boss Babe on her podcast and they recorded an episode together. I was so stoked for her. I was like, wow, how did you get Natalie to come on your podcast? Natalie has a huge following. She's a gigantic business. And I was just so in awe that my friend Ashley, who also has a great following and a wonderful business, had the guts to go ask Natalie to come on her show because I told her I would not have been able to do that. It's incredible that you were able to put yourself out there and be bold. And Natalie was so nice. And I think even so, Ashley had to follow up with her several times. Even though it was a yes for Natalie, Ashley kept following up and eventually they booked it. And Ashley followed up and was bold and big and even more bold after she recorded the podcast by then asking if she could be on the Boss Babe podcast. And I was like, wow, you
are my inspiration. I was dead when she told me this, and Natalie said yes, of course, because Ashley's had huge success and she's been doing big things. She not only teaches about coaching and teaches about different ways of being, but she embodies those every single day. So when she said, "Oh, I'm going to be on the Boss Babe podcast," I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is playing big. This is my dream. I want to be on the Boss Babe podcast one day. I need to do this more. I need to be bold and show up and ask big asks from the world around me, even though they might say no." I haven't been playing anywhere near this level, not even close. Like, honestly, even though I have a successful business and this is my second podcast, I've been doing all these things, I've been playing it safe. So it's time to unsubscribe to playing it safe, playing small, being timid, shy, apologetic, whatever it is, you insert that word that you don't want to be anymore. We're unsubscribing to that today. It's time to be bold, take bigger than life risks, and go after our goals, to take a stand, show up. I loved what Ashley did. I was so inspired by her. I was like, this is something I have to talk about. I have to bring to the podcast because I want to do that too. She embodied that for me and showed me what was possible. And now I'm going to do that for the next person. I'm so excited about it. So I want to share a couple of ways I've been doing that with the podcast, how I am unsubscribing to playing small. The first thing is when I was thinking about launching this podcast, you're all going to laugh. The name of the podcast was going to be Matcha Mornings with Avani, which honestly sounds cute, sounds cool, sounds fun. And I was talking to Bryn. Some of you know I worked with Soulfire Productions, and Bryn was an instrumental part of the strategy of my podcast launch, along with Kelly. And Bryn told me, I gave her the second name. The second name was Unsubscribe. Bryn told me, that's the one. That's you taking a stand. That's you playing big. That's the one you have to do. And I remember it being so terrifying, so scary, because it's a real unsubscribing. That's a big topic. That's a lot. There's a lot we can talk about, a lot of places we can go. And it's really vulnerable. It's really raw because I'm going to have to share a lot about myself with all of you. And I remember feeling kind of terrified about it, kind of scared about it. Like, oh, this is a little edgy. But that's what made me know at my core that it is what I needed to do. This was right. It was supposed to be unsubscribe the whole time. Another small thing that I did when I launched my podcast, I had a recording mic. I actually had 2 mics already in my closet ready to go. And I decided that I was going to install and invest in the top of the line mic, best mic, Shure mic, SMB 70, with a great boom arm and an Elgato light, and really elevate my setup for podcasting because I was stepping into being a podcaster. Playing big meant I needed to invest in myself. Now, it doesn't always mean you have to spend thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, but there are times when we're able to use money as a tool, use an investment as a tool to tell our brains that we are now stepping into in the next level. We are now moving into a different place, and we are being called to level up, to be that next version of ourselves. And for me, investing in really good recording equipment, and I'm using Riverside for recording in my studio. I have invested in some other tools, some other tech that has been important for me to tell myself this is serious. This is not just a hobby. This is not just a game. This is something that I'm doing in order to show up in the way I'm meant to show up in the world, in order to show up for other people. So those are some things that I did to unsubscribe being to playing small and subscribe to playing big. This is another big one I'm a little scared to talk about. My online audience has stayed around like 1.5K to 2,000 over the last several years, many, many years. And I've been letting things grow naturally, but really they haven't been growing. They've been stagnant. I haven't been investing a lot into growing my Instagram audience. But this year, I'm investing time and energy and money into adding content every day. I brought on a content team that's going to be helping me and adding rocket fuel to my visibility, because I realize I need to extend my time. I need to find ways to be visible to the people who need to hear this podcast, to get eyeballs on the podcast, to get, I guess, ears on the podcast because you listen to it, not eyeballs. I needed to be seen. It's this idea of visibility, and I've been playing small. I've been holding back. But this year, I'm going to 10x my following, not just on Instagram, but also my email list. You heard it here first. That's what I'm going to do. And mark my words, I'm going to do it. By the end of 2020, go check I'm actually going to go look at how many followers do I have on Instagram right now. Let's hold me to this. 1,722 followers as of February 14th, 2024, 1 p.m. We're going to 10x that this year. We are going to show up big. We are going to go out in the world. We're going to magnetize and attract the people who are meant to be here to listen. And we're going to make this a movement. Unsubscribe is a movement. That is what it is. That is playing big. It's not a podcast. It's not just a cute idea. Unsubscribe is a movement. It's a way of being. It's a way that we get to show up every day. And I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited that you are here on the journey and that I get to share this journey with you. As I close out on this topic here, I still have a few things I want to share with you, which I love tangible ways to act on what I'm sharing. I love sharing that because when I talk about a concept, a lot of times it is a little bit like up in the air and like, that sounds cool. It sounds nice. I'm inspired, but what do I do next? That's really important for me to talk about on the podcast. So we're going to talk about that right now. How do you actually unsubscribe to playing small? And how do you start playing big? How do you take those big, big bets on yourself? Those big, juicy bets that you know you need to, you're meant to, because there is something here for you. There are 3 things that I want to share with you in regards to this. Number 1, notice what scares you. When you feel that mix of excitement and potential, that tingly feeling, it's like kind of anxiety, but kind of like you're on a roller coaster, and fear and all of those feelings all mixed in one. It's like a little blender smoothie of all these feelings. Usually that is a nudge to play big, especially if there's that hint of optimism, that potential, that positivity. That is a sign that you need to lean into it, that you need to do that. And for me, that's just a clear sign. When I thought about the name of the podcast, when I thought about who am I going to bring onto my team to help me show up in the world, it was kind of scary, but the potential was incredible. It was exciting. And that was my sign. I needed to figure out how to make this happen. So notice what scares you and allow it to guide you. Allow it to be your compass. I also share my vision with others. That's the second item. I am talking about what I'm doing and what I'm going to do to as many people as I can. I'm texting my friends about it. I'm talking and voice noting about it. I'm telling my husband about it. I'm telling my family about it. I am excited. I'm lit up by the thing I'm doing. I'm talking about it to the people in my life because when I talk about it daily, I'm listening to it through my ear because I'm saying it out loud, but I'm also listening through it through my inner ear. So you have an outer ear and an inner ear, and your ear canal can hear vibrations from the inside of your head and the outside of your head. That's 2 pathways for your brain to start encoding whatever you're saying into the world. And your inner ear is powerful. It goes directly to your brain. It directly writes into your brain. That's why I think speaking the reality you want into existence to reprogram your mind, to take advantage of the ability of your brain cells to change. That's called neuroplasticity. When you share, you speak aloud what you want to create in the world, your brain is listening. And your brain is going to start to attune itself to what it needs to do, decisions it needs to make that happen. And so speak what you want. Say what reality you want to live in. Talk about how you want your course, your program to blow up. Talk about how you want to be on the Boss Babe podcast. Natalie Ellis I will be on her podcast, and I cannot wait for the day to be on Natalie's podcast. It's going to be so much fun. Thank you, Ashley, for being my inspiration. You're incredible. I'm going to be on that podcast, so I'm going to talk about it. This is why I love my morning manifestation exercise. If you haven't listened to episode 6. If you haven't listened to episode 6, you need to go listen in because that morning manifestation exercise, I talk about how I'm speaking the reality I want into existence. And this is just another form of that. Me sharing my vision with others, sharing what I'm bringing into the world is another way of speaking that into existence. And that is how I stop playing small and start playing big. Because when I say it out loud, when I admit it to myself and admit it to the world, I got to follow up on it. For me, I'm great at following up. So I need to admit it. I need to say it. I need to say it so that my brain wants it to be true, because our brains are lazy and they just want to make what we think is true or we say is true to be true. They want that reality to happen. The third thing I'm doing to unsubscribing to playing small is I ask myself, what would X do? So I ask myself, what would person whoever who I think plays big in life, what would they do? What decision would they make in this situation? So I have a few people in my head who I look at and I think, wow, they play big. How would that person act in this situation? What decision might they make? That just gives me important information and how I can operate in this situation if I want to play big too. It gives me a little bit of extra information on how to make the best decision for myself. A lot of times, if I think about that person who plays big and the decision they make, like I know I need to make that decision. Oh, they're going to make this decision in order to create X result and they play big. Okay, it's time to step into that arena. It's time to step into that version of myself. I'm just so done with being at the level that I've been playing at, with being the version of me that I have been. I love that. That was a great era. And I am so grateful for her and everything she created. And it's time to step out of that way of being, of that person, and step into the next version of myself. It's time to level up. It's time to get uncomfortable again. And it's time to ruffle some feathers, shake things up, and make change in the world. It gets me so excited. I'm just so lit up by this. I hope these tangible takeaways are helpful for you to start getting the ball rolling on how to unsubscribe to playing small. If you try them out, please let me know. DM me on Instagram at AvaniMJane. Let me know how it felt. Let me know how it felt to play big. And it could be in a small, tiny area of life. Maybe playing big for you is going out and buying the most bougie drink at the coffee shop nearby. Maybe that's playing big for you today. And if you do it, let me know, because I fully support that, because that helps you elevate into the next version of you. I can't wait to hear from all of you on how you are unsubscribing to playing small in order to subscribe to a life of playing big. I will see you on the Instagram DMs and Instagram stories. But until next time, have a wonderful rest of your day.